With a new football regulator on the horizon, Chelsea have just announced a fan advisory board. So, is football finally changing for the better in this country, and are fans finally being listened to? After years of clubs going into administration, the Premier League filling their coffers, and of course attempts to break away from domestic competition altogether, with the Super League, an independent football regulator aiming to protect English football's cultural heritage, was announced by Sports Minister Stuart Andrew last week.
We committed to a root and branch review of football, with fans at the very heart of that review. And today we are acting on its recommendations with the most radical overhaul of football governance since the rules were first invented in a London pub back in 1863.
So what will the regulator do? Well, there are 5 things that the government has agreed on. Clubs must have sound financial business models. There'll be stringent director and owner tests, prevention of key club identity changes like their name or badge, prevention of joining closed-shop competitions like the Super League, and a fair distribution of cash for the wider football pyramid. Since the formation of the Premier League in 1992, the English game has risen to the top of world football, but owners have played fast and loose with clubs and communities across the country. In that time, 64 clubs have gone into administration, and one London club suffered more than most. 1988 FA Cup winners Wimbledon were renamed and even moved away from their home, leaving a gaping hole in the community. Fans were left to create a new club, AFC Wimbledon. Their current managing director says the regulator announcement is massive for English football.
What we've now got to use is, with the government intervention, is to make sure there is a distribution of wealth that is far fairer than what we have at the moment. I see today as an absolute key day in that journey. Established
Premier League club West Ham have also been involved in the debate. Co-owner David Sullivan doesn't like the idea, saying the government are terrible at running everything, while Hammers fans believe their owner is a perfect advert for an independent regulator after moving away from their spiritual home at the Boleyn Ground to the Olympic Stadium. According to Tom on Twitter, the move ripped the heart out of the community. The regulator will stop these moves against fans' wishes in the future. Football finance expert Mike Middling says the plans will give fans more assurances there is a long-term future for the club, with owners not gambling for short-term success.
So these plans are to try and rein that in and bring it back to a place where clubs will have a future, where fans can look at their club and see that the club has a strong future ahead. And we're not gambling short-term success versus the long-term success of the football club.
So, how will clubs look to change, and are they already looking to align themselves with the values that the government have set out? Chelsea have announced a new fan advisory board who will have a say in decisions that impact supporters, a key point of the regulator. Anyone can go for 3 of the 6 spots on the board as well, so if you're interested, get applying. The Premier League, especially the traditional top 6, including Tottenham, Chelsea and Arsenal, have been accused of profiting from the big money of the Premier League, whilst the rest of English football has to find other means to survive. Mike says there will, of course, be some clubs who aren't in favour of the news.
If you are one of the privileged clubs that is earning a lot of revenues from the current status quo, and you are doing well from the current status quo, you probably aren't going to welcome this news.
So it begs the question, do the big clubs actually want to engage with their fans? And is the Chelsea move just a week after the announcement from the government a PR stunt? Well, we might never know. And if it is, does that even matter? Probably not. Whatever the reasons, we're going to see far more fan engagement in the near future to step in line with the plans. One thing for sure is the government's plan for the independent regulator has been announced with good intentions, and if implemented correctly, will give more power to the fans. And the clubs will have to comply with the regulator, whether they like it or not.